this next article from Investment News. This article says that the timeline for the fiduciary rule may be slip-sliding away. It goes on to say the Labor Department's plan to repropose a rule that would expand the definition of fiduciary for advisors to retirement plans appears to be losing momentum. The agency aims to issue the proposal, which was scuttled in September, by summer rather than the first part of the year. So again, this is another issue that would help 401k participants and protect them, because the fiduciary standard requires that an advisor put the client's interests ahead of his own at all times. What they're trying to do is say, well, that has no place in a retirement plan. So advisors who pick investments for retirement plans, the industry is saying, let's keep everything the way it is. Why change something that isn't broken, for the financial industry anyway? So as in the case of the 401k fee disclosure, this is already getting pushed back as well. And I already noticed this. I think 1 or 2 webcasts ago I discussed that Mary Shapiro from the SEC had softened her tone in this issue. There was a lot of talk going around that the fiduciary standard would be implemented across the board, so brokers would have fiduciary responsibility as well as investment advisors. But of course the industry fought that as hard as possible, because if that happened, the brokerage industry would pretty much disappear, because their commission is inherently a conflict of interest. So it would eliminate that whole industry, and of course there's a lot of fighting going on this issue. It says the DOL first proposed the expand fiduciary rule in October 2010. It said that the update to federal retirement law was necessary to better protect workers and retirees who must now provide for their own nest eggs through IRA and 401k plans. And it says the rule, which is on its way to being finalized by the end of 2011, was withdrawn after withering criticism from the financial industry and lawmakers. So the lawmakers said, whoa, you want to protect consumers and put advisors in that don't have conflicts of interest? Get out of here. That's crazy talk. Opponents said the rule was too broad and would subject IRA advisors to fiduciary responsibility for the first time, potentially driving brokers out of the market. Well, what could be worse than that? God forbid that people can retire with adequate savings and not have exorbitant fees and funds that just have underperformed for the last 5-10 years. It says skeptics also said that the original rule was a solution in search of a problem and lacked the sufficient cost-benefit analysis. So what they want is a cost-benefit analysis to show that conflicts of interest are bad for consumers. Okay. I don't know how many millions of dollars you need to allocate to that study. It says some critics of the rule complain that we have not adequately demonstrated or quantified the harm that can arise when investment advisors' interests conflict with those of the IRA owners they advise. Now, this is the quote of the day. I have to give it to her. This is the most hilarious thing I've read while I was preparing for this webcast. They have not demonstrated or quantified the harm that can arise when investment advisors' interests conflict with those of the IRA owners they advise. Come on, it gets obnoxious at some point, and to argue this, it would be a moot point. Of course, there's harm. Of course, to quantify it is going to be a different story. How do you quantify something that has been going on for so many years? Of course, it's difficult to quantify. It says the EBSA is responding by assembling a wide array of evidence on this question and will offer this evidence in connection with the forthcoming proposal. I would love to see it. I want to see how they're going to figure out that having conflicts of interest is not harmful. I don't have a crystal ball in front of me, but my prediction is it's going to be the same situation where the tobacco companies have come out with study after study that says that smoking isn't harmful, that it's not addictive, that it's healthy, so on and so forth. So that's another situation where consumer rights and consumer interests are being pushed back, and this is what happens when you have a strong lobby, when you have financial backing, and when you have political clout. So this is an example of how the industry works, unfortunately, and I think we're going to see more of this in the future.